cracked and dirty. I'll try to clean it up and save it. Just the driver's side, the backing plate or tub or whatever you want to call it, metal, it's pretty rusted out. I'm going to take it apart like I did the other one. Clean this all up. I'm going to paint the reflective backing in here with chrome paint because it's doing its purpose. It's not, you know, super clean or anything. It's only a single bulb for the whole big area. There are kits out there for 3 individual bulbs, but you get into the hundreds of dollars for that, and I'm just going to clean it up and make it the best we can. I think between getting these cleaned up and painting the reflective surface of that bucket, that single bulb in there will light up pretty nicely now. So I use this Permatex rust treatment for the bottom parts of these backing plates here. I'm not sure what to call these things, tubs. But anyway, that's got to sit overnight so I can put a top coat on it, which will be chrome paint. So a little chrome paint and some polishing on the lenses, and it looks a whole lot better. I'm going to put them together off camera and then we'll stick them back in the car. Just realized I never got a before shot. Now that they're all bright and shiny and chrome paint on the reflective surface, it sure is a lot brighter. But sorry, I take my word for it. I think I'm going to go ahead and order the trim pieces. I just really need those now. I can't hardly stand to put the old ones back on. They're pretty busted up anyway. I noticed, especially on this side, there's not one bolt that's in place. It was just kind of glued in there. So I'm going to get those. They're under $100, so I think they're worth it. So the new can is $105 at one site and $127 at another. So I decided to go ahead and use JB Weld. I think I have all the holes covered. I'll just set up and then we'll give it a try. I think I got the vacuum canister pretty much sealed. It's got a real slow leak, but that could be just my connections too. With the engine running now, we should have good vacuum. I can't hear any more leaking. I've got almost a full tube of JB Weld. So the seam on the back and on the top, and then those holes that were here in the towards the center. And that's about all I can do. I'll go ahead and paint it, get it protected, and put it back on. So that canister hangs out in the wheel well. Just 2 1/2-inch bolts there, pretty easy. Now we have the vacuum line hooked up again, so let's see if we can get something to work. Well, unfortunately, there's nothing to show you as far as getting the different actuators to work in here. I've got some vacuum to each one, and if I reroute the lines, I can get a lot of vacuum to one actuator at a time. But we still have probably multiple leaks in the vacuum lines themselves. I'm noticing quite a few of them are real loose on the nipples where they plug into. So I'll talk to the owner. He has mentioned possibly getting a whole new air conditioning system from Vintage Air or a similar manufacturer. He's waiting on me to get a price back to him, which I have, and that's about $2,200 without shipping or installation or anything. So he's probably close to $3,000, I would guess. I've never done that job, so I have to go on YouTube and get smart on it. But anyway, I'm going to have to stop working on this because it's getting to be a lot of hours into it, and he's got heat. I still got to get the heater box physically secure. It's still just kind of hanging there on one bolt. I did find another mounting point. I got a bolt in my inventory that I modified so I have an attachment point. I just got to make a strap now. There's no bracket or anything, so something's missing. But I can make up something just to hold it for now, and I'll talk to him, see what he wants to do. The glare. I'm trying to figure out this fuel gauge problem. And fuel gauge is easy enough to test. You just put voltage to it and get a reading. I've tested the wires from the sending unit to here. They're all good, so we need to get a sending unit for this car. Yeah, he wants your hair. Yeah, he likes your hair. Goofy guy. My dad never complains. Where'd he go now? I might have to close that door before he poops on your head. He's looking at you. There he goes. Okay, if I don't move, you can just see the fill sending unit there. Part of it is still under gas. Well, I'd like to see the float part of it to see. That's darn, I just can't get it. Maybe I don't want to put the camera in the fuel. It's real close. So it looks like the fuel float there is stuck to the bottom. That's about as close as I want to get. So at least we know we got to get a little more gas out of there, or I'll be taking a bath. So what I found out is, and I suspected it once I looked in there, the float was sitting down at the bottom of the tank, and sure enough, it's full of fuel. So there's a puncture in it that's caused it just to fall to the bottom. The sending unit itself is probably okay, but with the age of the vehicle and the unknowns, for $40 we can get them a new unit with a 1-year guarantee. So let's get a fuel sending unit on order. So on this Mustang, the accessory power comes from the ignition switch, and it comes from that center post with the purple wire going out. So I chased that down over to this connector, and there is in fact power to this point, yeah, right here. So with that purple wire, that is ignition. Of course, that's key on. I mean accessory, sorry, that's key to accessory. And I guess I should mention what I'm trying to figure out is the fuse to the accessory does not have any power. Okay, this is crazy. I can't show you both at the same time, but that's ignition to accessory. And now I'm getting power. That's nuts. There we go. Oh, I can't hardly get power on both sides, so the fuse is good. I wonder if just moving that connector off and on again fixed it, because I can assure you I had no power there. That's nuts. Huh? Something's changed. So I think I got it figured out. The ignition switch, as I was putting it back in, I noticed that purple wire that went to that center post was just moving. The nut was loose, so I tightened down that nut on the center post. Purple wire is now tight, and I have power to the accessory. So it was just a matter of moving things around to get it to work, and then hopefully that's all it was. So the noise you hear is my vacuum tester, and you can see this actuator starts to pull, and then there's a point where it kind of gives up. And these things are kind of expensive. I think I remember them about $40 a piece. So this one's bad. this one up here is bad. It won't even move at all. Alright, we have new hardware inside. Everything matches now. The interior is painted. The exterior door is painted. Latches nicely, and up underneath we have matching hardware as well. So that is done. Everything behind it is done except for the light hanging here, which is just a matter of one screw when I get the doors closed. And the wire here is just for the antenna to the radio, so that'll look a whole lot nicer. And I guess we'll work on the radio and the center console. That'll be nice to see that come back together. This is the knob that goes in the T shifter. You push that knob and it releases the lock so you can get it out of reverse. I don't know if you can notice or not, but that has got a groove in it, so it's making it really hard. You got to push that button way in to the cavity to get it to release. And I've already filed some of that off, so what I'm going to do is JB weld this piece of aluminum right there, build up that area. It should make it a lot easier to shift. I don't even know if you can get that part separate, but I think I can fix it. So here's the button I was talking about here, and I just noticed this handle's cracked too. So that doesn't help things, but man, this is sweet. This is sweet. That works so much better now. Yeah, that was well worth it. They fit real nicely. I have no complaints there. I just got to come up with fasteners on the back side and finish this off. Boy, it sure looks a lot nicer. Yeah, it looks nice. So what do you do when you have blind holes that you can't get to fasten apart? So the bottom is not going to be an issue. The plate that goes there didn't come with any hardware, and the hardware's missing, so I had to come up with my own. Again, going through stock, I found something for the lowers, but there's not much you can do here in the top except for one thing, and that's called a nut plate. If you don't know what that is, I'll show you here in a second. The kit I have is from Astro, model number 1443 Alpha. So after you get the pressed in, they kind of collapse on themselves and squeeze onto the plastic in this case. And then you can put in your screws and fasten this plate. So what I'm after. Box is a little beat up, so I'm a little bit worried about it at first, but I already looked at it. We've got our fuel sending unit, and it is the exact replacement. 5-year guarantee. So let's put this in and see if we got a fuel gauge working. Kind of dark out here in the garage. I was fixing to shut everything down. Forgot to check the gauge, but good, it's working. But the instrument cluster's back in, and the center console's all back in, except for the ashtray. It's been painted and drying right now. And next thing, the next part, I think it's up to part 7. I'll have to take the steering wheel apart because we've got to fix the blinker cam in there is broken, and the blinkers don't work. So that was another issue on the car that we need to fix. So I'm going to close the video here and invite y'all to come back in part 7, and we're getting close to having this car done. So maybe part 8, and then we can let you go and do something else. So thanks for watching. Appreciate each and every one of you.